You are the last human who still sleeps. You just don't know it yet. It is the summer of 2090, and outside your window, the city hums brighter than any summer before it. The clinics open in June. They are white and quiet and everywhere, wedged between coffee shops and pharmacies. A single needle at the base of the skull. A neural upgrade that dissolves the body's need for sleep. 20 minutes in, 20 minutes out. A diagram poster fills the clinic window. The end of sleep pressure. A rising blue tide cut off by a clean red line. The advertisements call it freedom. The line outside stretches around the block by the second week. Your brother goes first. He comes home glowing, talking fast, unpacking closets at 3 a.m. He has read 4 books since Tuesday. He laughs at you for still lying down in the dark like an animal. You watch your friends convert one by one. Their messages arrive at every hour now, tireless, precise. Nobody yawns anymore. Nobody says goodnight. The word simply stops appearing. You decline. At first, it is a joke. You like your bed, you say. You like the strange films your mind plays when the lights go out. You hold out for the novelty of it, for the quiet no one else wants. And the quiet is real. While the world climbs out of its beds for good, you keep your nights. You keep the slow hours, the cool sheets, the small private country of sleep that suddenly belongs to you alone. But the world retools fast. Stores never close. Trains run at 4 a.m, packed. Your job expects output around the clock, and you, needing your 8 hours, begin to fall behind. Emails pile up while you dream. Meetings happen while you rest. One night, you sit over your screen, reading an old article you can barely believe was ever common knowledge. How deep sleep files your memories. How REM sorts your feelings. How in the dark a stuck problem sometimes solves itself by morning. An infographic glows under your thumb. Established science set down in a single season. A note, plainly. In reality, going without sleep is not survivable. Total sleep loss is cognitively catastrophic and, in conditions like fatal familial insomnia, ultimately fatal. That the sleepless simply thrive here is this story's central invention. Your amusement curdles into unease. It happened in weeks. Billions of people set down something ancient without a ceremony, without a second thought, the way you'd put down a cup. A clerk updates your file. A small flag appears beside your name. Unconverted. It cannot be removed. You are marked now, permanently, in the records of a species that no longer sleeps. By September, the clinics dim their lights and lock their doors. Their work is done. There is no one left to convert. The world stops sleeping, all at once, forever. You lie down that night in a city that will never lie down again. Through the window, the streets glow, sleepless. You lie awake in that glow, eyes open, and wonder what they are gaining, and what they haven't noticed, losing. Cities burn all night now. It is 2096, and the world no longer waits for morning. Every window glows. Every crane swings under floodlights at 3 a.m, and no one below is tired. You wake at 7. You always have. But when you step outside, the day is already 6 hours old for everyone else. They started at midnight. They started at dawn. They never stopped. You ride the train past construction that seems to grow while you watch. A tower rose here last week. Another stands where a park used to be. The skyline changes faster than your memory can hold it. This is a golden age, and you can see it. Balanced against every human record, output has roughly doubled in 6 years. New medicines, new bridges, new machines that think. The sleepless build without pause, and the world fills with their work. You work too. You sit at your desk beside colleagues who arrived while you slept and will stay after you leave. They finish your tasks before you reach them. They smile, kind and quick, and ask why you still fade at night. It's just so quaint, a co-worker says, not unkindly. She has been awake for 4 years. Her eyes are bright and dry. She has read 900 books since the surgery. You have read 4. You feel yourself slipping behind. Not lazy, not slow. Simply outnumbered by hours you do not have. While you dream, the projects move on without you. You return each morning to a race already run. Then the letter comes. Your role is being restructured. Around-the-clock teams have made single-shift workers, they explain. Difficult to schedule. You are not fired for failing. You are retired for sleeping. You clear your desk in daylight, alone. The office hums on behind you, lit and full, indifferent to the hour. You realize you have become something the world no longer has a word for. A person with an end to their day. At the market, the aisles never close. Strangers shop at 4 in the morning with the same steady focus as noon. No one yawns. No one leans. You buy your groceries and feel watched. A slow figure in a fast, gleaming machine. At home, you lie down while the city works. Cranes turn. Screens flicker in every tower. You wonder, quietly, whether they are right. Perhaps rest was only a flaw. Perhaps a species this productive is missing nothing at all. But something is beginning to surface in the reports you read before you drift off. The sleepless are brilliant, tireless, exact. And in the small print of the data, researchers note something they cannot yet name. The tireless are changing, slowly, strangely. And no one can say into what. A note stated plainly. In reality, no human survives without sleep. Total sleep loss is cognitively catastrophic and, in disorders like fatal familial insomnia, fatal. That the upgrade simply works with no bodily harm is this story's one great invention. Imagine it and read on. The cities have never looked so clean. Plazas swept smooth at midnight. Walls painted fresh over fresh. It is 2103, and the sleepless build and repair through the dark, so nothing is ever allowed to decay. You walk these streets like a visitor in a museum that has forgotten what it holds. The buildings are flawless. The gardens are geometric. Somewhere you feel something is missing, but you cannot point to it. You find it first in the music. A new symphony premieres in a hall of white light. The playing is perfect. Every note lands where it should. Not one hand trembles. And yet you sit there waiting for something that never comes. No ache, no surprise. No moment where the sound reaches into you and turns. It is beautiful the way a diagram is beautiful. You leave before the end. You start listening for it everywhere. The new songs are technically flawless and emotionally dead. The chords resolve too neatly. Nothing risks. Nothing bleeds. You read the novels the sleepless write. They are enormous, precise, endlessly informed. Every fact is correct. But you always know what the next page holds. Nobody in them ever does anything strange. Nobody dreams a wrong dream and follows it. This is reasonable extrapolation, not proven fact. But sleep researchers have long linked dreaming and REM sleep to divergent thinking, the odd leaps that make art surprising. Watching these tireless people, you begin to believe it. Their minds are brilliant. Their minds have stopped wandering. You try to name it to a friend over coffee she does not need. The art is hollow, you say. It has no ache in it. She tilts her head, politely puzzled, and lets the words slide past. She is not being cruel. She simply cannot see the color you are pointing at. That is the loneliest moment yet. You are describing a loss to people who feel no loss. To them, the world is only getting better, faster, cleaner, more productive. They have traded something away and do not remember owning it. You lie awake at night, you always do, and you are no longer just annoyed at them. You are frightened for them. They are forgetting how to imagine, and forgetting is invisible from the inside. Then the research begins to catch up. Quietly, institutes notice the flattening. Fewer breakthroughs, fewer wild ideas. They trace the hollowing back to the thing the whole species abandoned, the death of dreaming. And they begin to ask who, if anyone, still dreams. They can name the loss now, in charts and falling figures. Feeling it is another matter. And no one inside the brilliance seems to be looking. One evening there is a knock at your door. 3 soft raps. On the other side stands a woman with a badge from an institute you have never heard of. She says they have heard a rumor. She says you still sleep. They have built a white room just for you. It is 21:10, and the institute sits on the top floor of a glass tower, above the sleepless traffic that never stops. They call it the Reverie Wing. You are its only patient and its only asset. You lie back on a bed that costs more than your old apartment. Cool electrodes press against your scalp like small coins. A technician lowers a visor over your eyes and tells you, gently, to sleep. You are frightened. No one has ever watched the inside of your night before. You close your eyes. You dream, as you always do. A staircase made of water, a horse the color of thunder, a door that opens onto your mother's kitchen. In the morning, they show you a screen. There it is. Your dream, rendered in trembling light, playing back like a film no one wrote. They lead in the first buyer. She is a sleepless woman in a grey suit, brilliant and tired around the eyes. They fit her with the visor. They pour your night into her. She goes still. Then she begins to weep. You have never seen a sleepless person cry. Their faces are usually smooth, efficient, unbothered. But she sits there shaking, tears running down a face that had forgotten how. She whispers that she had not felt wonder in 19 years. She thanks you like you are something holy. Something in your chest turns over. You came in frightened. Now you feel a strange, warming pride. You have something they cannot build, cannot code, cannot manufacture under floodlights. You are, for the first time in 20 years, needed. They put a contract in front of you. The paper is real, thick, and formal, a rare thing now. They offer you more money than you can spend. They offer you fame, and the right to keep sleeping in comfort forever. All they want is your nights. You sign it. Your hand moves, and the ink dries, and it is done. In that instant, your subconscious stops being only yours. It becomes a product with a serial number, a supplier, and a market. This cannot be unsigned. Within weeks, your dreams have a price. A schedule appears on the wall. Monday nights are pre-sold to a media house. Wednesday's dream belongs to a museum. Your sleep, once the most private thing on earth, now has a delivery date. And the demand does not slow. Word spreads across the sleepless world that all can be bought, secondhand, from the last man who dreams. Outside the glass tower, a line begins to form. It stretches down the block, then around it. You watch them wait, faces lit blue by the tower, each clutching a ticket for a piece of your night. From the air, a city spirals outward from your tower like the rings of a tree. It is 2117, and they have built all of it around the fact that you sleep. Each ring is a queue of people waiting to borrow the inside of your night. They call it reverie. The Pilgrims call it something holier. They arrive by the millions, sleepless and bright-eyed, carrying nothing, because there is nothing they need. They only want to feel what you feel when you close your eyes. You dream now on a schedule. A bell wakes the technicians before it wakes you. There are morning dreams and evening dreams, matinees and midnights, each one metered, bottled, streamed to a waiting world. When you go under, the whole city dims its lights in reverence. When you surface, they cheer through the glass. They have painted your sleeping face on the sides of buildings, eyes shut, mouth soft, a saint mid-vision. For a while, this feels like being chosen. You are the only dream engine left on Earth. A child touches the base of your tower and weeps because the color of your last dream lives inside her now. You made that. Only you could have made that. But wonder, it turns out, is not a renewable field. It is soil, and they are harvesting it 3 times a day. The technicians push you into sleep faster than sleep wants to come. They wake you the instant the yield peaks, before the dream can finish itself, before the long, slow water of deep sleep can pool. Your nights are cut into shifts. Your rest is quarried, not given. Sleep researchers of the old world would have recognized the danger. Real sleep moves in unhurried cycles. The deep, restoring dark, then the vivid drift of dreaming. And each cycle needs the last to complete it. Break the rhythm again and again, and the architecture does not simply pause. It crumbles. You begin to feel it crumble. You lie down, and your body no longer trusts the descent. You surface a dozen times an hour. The dreams come thinner, faster, then not at all until the machines coax them out like the last water from a cloth. You are worshipped, and you are exhausted, and no one can tell the difference from the outside. Inside the adoration, you are alone with the truth. Something in you has been spent. The sleep you were born with may never come easily again. At night, when the city glows for you, you press your hand to the cold glass and wonder how long one mind can dream for billions. Then the first dry night arrives. Hours of dark, and nothing at all rises to meet them. The shelves inside the tower stand almost empty. It is 21:24, and the reserve has run dry. The queues still spiral outside, but there is almost nothing left to hand them. You can feel it in your own head. The dreams come thinner now. Some nights they do not come at all. They ration what is left. An auction house opens on the 10th floor. A single recovered dream, 3 seconds of falling through warm dark, sells for the price of a house. The bidders wear grey and do not blink. You lie in the white bed and try to sleep. This is the cruelty you did not expect. The one thing you always had, the easy slide into night, will not come when you reach for it. Demand claws at every waking hour, and your body has forgotten how to rest under it. The handlers hover. They measure your pulse, your breath, the twitch behind your eyelids. When you finally drift, an alarm wakes you to record the fragment before it fades. They are strip mining the last field, and the field is you. So you begin to suffer what you refused. Your hands shake. Words dissolve on your tongue. You see movement in corners that hold nothing. This is the deprivation you turned away from in 2090, delivered to you now by the very people who bought your nights. Outside, the sleepless grows strange. Denied the dreams they bought secondhand, they turn desperate and litigious. Lawsuits stack against the Institute. Crowds petition for a fairer share of you. Someone spray paints a single word across the tower's base. More. A man is arrested for trying to climb the glass. He only wanted, he says, to stand near the place where dreams are made. He has forgotten he once made his own, every night, for free. In this drought, you find a hard, cold clarity. You understand at last what was taken and how quietly it went. A whole species handed over its inner night for brighter days, and no one wept because no one remembered there was anything to weep for. You grieve for them now, more than for yourself. You are hollowed out, a well pumped past its water, and still the buckets come down. There is a grief with no bottom in being the only one who remembers the thing that everyone lost. You ask the handlers a question they cannot answer. What is a world without any new dreams? They stare at you with clear, tired, brilliant eyes and say nothing because they no longer have the words for it. So you decide to see for yourself. You rise from the white bed. You unclip the sensors. You walk past the alarms and the auction and the queues, toward the doors that have not opened for you in years, out into the sleepless streets. The cities are perfect now. You walk out into one for the first time in years, and it takes your breath the way a held note does. It is 21:31. Street meets street at a clean right angle, tower after identical silver tower, glass without a smudge. Nothing is broken. Nothing is beautiful. A generation is grown now that has never slept. They were born after the drought, into homes where no one closed their eyes. They have never lain in the dark and watched a ceiling become a country. They do not know that this ever happened to anyone. A plain note. In reality, no one survives this. Total sleep loss unravels the mind and ends it. Fatal familial insomnia kills within months. That the sleepless live on for decades is pure fiction, a door held open only so the story can ask what would be lost. You sit across from a young woman in a bright cafe. She can hold 9 numbers in her head and rotate a cathedral in the air with her hands. You ask her to imagine a door that opens onto the sea. She frowns, kind and patient, and asks you which sea and how the hinges are rated. You meet an engineer who can repair anything. You ask him to make up a story, any story, one that never happened. He goes quiet for a long time. Then he tells you, gently, that he does not know how to say a thing that is not true. He is not lying. He simply has no room where that lives. This is what quietly died. Not intelligence, not skill. The species can solve everything and picture nothing. The grief you have carried for 40 years finally shows you its whole shape, and it is enormous, and it is nobody's fault. You understand it now, fully. Sleep science once held that dreaming stitched memory to feeling, that the wandering mind rehearsed the impossible and returned with the new. Take away the night, and the loom keeps running, but the strange threads never come. This is reasonable extrapolation, and you are its living proof. The forgetting feeds itself now. Parents who cannot dream cannot teach it. Children who are never told a made-up thing never miss one. It passes down as an absence, invisible, complete. No one grieves it because grief too is a kind of imagining. And here, in the perfect square, your last hard truth arrives. For a moment, you are tempted to keep it all, to carry the last night to your grave and stay the one singular soul on earth, the only person alive who ever dreamed. Handing it back would make you ordinary, one sleeper among billions again. But you are one tired person with a few thin dreams left. You could pour every night you have into this ocean of clean minds, and it would vanish without a ripple. Your dreams alone can never refill a species. You let the temptation go, and something in you softens into a wide, tender ache for all of them. A child tugs your sleeve. She looks up and asks what dreaming feels like. You open your mouth to answer, and you watch her try to picture it, and you see that she cannot. The tower behind you still glows, but you are not in it. It is 21:36, and you have stopped selling your sleep. You have started giving it away instead. You are in a small room on a low street, and you have painted the walls the color of no light at all. There are no cues here. There are 12 chairs. There is a heavy curtain you pull across the one window by hand. When it closes, the room goes dark, in a way the city has not been dark in 40 years. You hear your students gasp. Most of them have never seen true black. You call it the School of Night. It is not on any map the sleepless keep. You almost did not open this door. For weeks, you sat with a quieter truth. You could keep all of it, remain the only one. Hold the last night on earth in your hands alone. There is a warmth in being irreplaceable, and you were afraid of the plain, forgettable person you would become without it. You chose the door anyway. Your first volunteers arrive stiff and skeptical. Among them is your brother, old now, his bright amber eyes gone tired at the edges, still talking fast. Beside him sits Aura, 90 years old, who trembles at the dark and grips the arms of her chair. They sit down as if the chairs might bite. Their neural upgrades hum quietly under their skin, keeping them awake, keeping them sharp, keeping them empty. You ask them gently to turn the setting down, not off, just down. Just enough to drift. You teach them to close their eyes. It sounds like nothing. For them, it is the hardest thing in the world. Their eyelids flutter open again and again, hunting for a task. You tell them there is no task. You tell them to let their minds fall sideways. You show them how to breathe slow, how to stop counting, how to let a thought wander off its rail and not chase it back. You describe the strange country on the other side of tiredness, and you watch them lean toward your voice like plants toward a lamp. One night, Teo, a man in the corner chair, goes quiet, then jerks awake with wet eyes and shaking hands. He says he saw a horse made of water walking across a field that was also his mother. He does not know what it means. He is laughing and crying at once. It is the first dream in 46 years that no one poured into him, grown in a mind that is not yours. You watch it spread. A man dreams of a stairway that folds. Aura, who feared the black, closes her eyes without shaking and weeps at something she will not explain. Each one is clumsy, half-formed, astonishing. Each one is theirs, not harvested, not bottled, grown. And you feel the ground shift under everything you were. If they can dream, they no longer need you to dream for them. Every closed pair of eyes in this dark room dissolves the rarity that made you sacred. You are handing away the only thing that made you singular, on purpose, with both hands. You love them enough to become ordinary. Soon, your first students pull curtains of their own, in rooms of their own, teaching strangers to close their eyes. Your brother is among them now, guiding a room of the wide-eyed down into the dark. The rarity you carried is dissolving into the crowd, and you let it go. From a hillside, a blanket around your shoulders, you watch the lights go out on purpose. It is 2140. One district at a time, the city's dim. The towers that never slept lower their glow like eyes half closing. Somewhere, someone has decided the night is worth having again. It took 4 years and a small room with painted walls to teach them to stop fighting the pull, to lie still, to let a thought drift, to fall on purpose into the dark and trust it to hold them. One by one, they stopped fighting. Now, the sleep pressure returns to them like a tide, finding its old shoreline. Neuroscientists once believed the drive to sleep could be suppressed but never fully deleted. It seems they were right. The upgrade held it back for 50 years. It did not erase it. A plain note, though, for honesty's sake, this part is invention. In the world we actually know, sleep cannot be shed without cost. Total sleeplessness, as in fatal familial insomnia, is not survived. Here, in the story, the dark was always waiting under the floor of them, patient as groundwater. You walk down into a wide room where hundreds of people lie in rows, breathing slow. Their faces are soft. Their eyes move behind closed lids, chasing things that are finally their own. Near the end of one row, you find your brother. Old now, the amber in him gone gentle, his restless hands finally still. He sleeps. You are not their doctor here. You are not their oracle. You are just one more person looking for a place to lie down. There is a space near the middle. You take it. The floor is warm from all the resting bodies. Someone beside you sighs and turns. No one is watching you. No one is waiting for what you bring back. For the first time in 30 years, your sleep belongs to no one but you. This is the ache, and this is the relief. Braided together so tightly, you cannot pull them apart. You are not the last of anything anymore. You are ordinary. You are one dreamer among many, and being ordinary feels like coming home from a long, cold errand you never agreed to run. You close your eyes. The dark comes up to meet you, and this time it is crowded with company. You feel them all around you, sinking, the whole species remembering how to let go. Somewhere, a last light clicks off. You do not know, drifting, whether it was the keeping that mattered or the giving, whether you saved the dream by hoarding it or by handing it back. Maybe it was only ever this, someone deciding how to spend the dark. The century closes the way it opened, with one person choosing. You choose to rest. Sleep comes slowly now. The years took something that will not fully return, and you have to coax it the way they once had to. But it comes, and you dream, and you are not alone, and it is enough.